And a good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome on the 6th of May to the Hospitality and Tourism Skills, the HATS webinar this morning on AR and VR for the tourism industries. My name is Kieran and today I am ably assisted by, not assisted actually, he's going to be leading on my colleague Cathal McDonald from SRC. And in the background then we have my colleagues Margaret, Ashley and Amy. So first and foremost, you are very welcome this morning. This is there's a series of HATS webinars, and at SRC this is our first today. There will be two others, one on the 10th of May, which is I'll talk to you, and is my colleagues from the chefing and the catering side of things are going to be talking about cooking it and quaffing it, etc. And I'm going to be taking a podcasting workshop in early June, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that. So this really idea, it was my colleague Margaret approached me and says, what can we do in tourism? And I explained to Margaret, listen, we're doing a lot around 360 AR and VR at the moment, and Cathal and myself as a team have been working on that for the last couple of years. So today what we're going to do, we're going to give you some practical examples, and I'll get into that in a wee second. But first and foremost, you'll be automatically muted. If you do have any questions, Margaret's taking questions in the background. Will you please pop them in the chat window? In relation to the answering the questions, we'll do that at the end, and then my colleague Margaret will come on again and talk about some other support that we can offer at Southern Regional College. In terms of links that you're going to see today, this is being saved on Microsoft Teams and will be circulated to all participants today. We also have quite an extensive list of links that you're going to see today, and you might think, how did you do that, or give us an example of that. So that's going to be sent out to you along with the evaluations that Ashley and Amy are going to put out. Okay. I think that's enough for me just at this moment in time. If we move on to the next slide there, Cathal, please. Quickly then, I suppose you're going to hear a little bit more about me and then on to Cathal. I've been back at Southern Regional College from 2012 as a tourism innovation specialist. Probably helped now over 300 businesses. Last year I did a postgraduate diploma in innovation and design thinking, which was very, very interesting and really, really enjoyed that. I've been doing a number of things around mapping and AR, 360s and trails, and recently there I was the conference facilitator for the Dundalk Chamber of Commerce, the annual cross-border tourism conference, which I've been first of all attending and facilitating for the last 3 to 4 years. Recently I set up my own podcast, Tomorrow's Visitors, and 3 episodes and another 3 going out next week. So that'll be relevant for the podcasting webinar that's coming up. And I am also a part-time tour guide trainer. Enough about me. Cathal, come in there.
Hello, everybody. I'm Cathal, and I'm a part-time business mentor with Southern Regional College at the minute. I have a background in graphic design, large format print, and more recent years web design, and then I got into 360 modeling and 3D design. Unity, I've used a lot of Unity, made a couple of apps with Unity, and I'm branching more and more into web VR. And as such, advising some of the businesses with Southern Regional College how to use AR and VR in their businesses, which has led to my involvement in today's webinar. So we're just going to examine a few AR and VR samples and examples being used in the real world with a particular slant on the tourism business. So hope you enjoy what we've put together, and we'll take it from there.
Great stuff. I mean, I should add, Cathal is in some respects shy and not given the full detail of what he does. He's really added a deeper dimension to our team here at Southern Regional College, and another colleague, Alan, and a number of others, but particularly in tourism. And you're going to see some of that now this morning. Okay, Cathal, if we go a run through then, we'll give an overview of what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to kick off with an introduction to AR and VR. This isn't an academic webinar. We're just going to highlight a couple of examples and then really narrow in on what we've been doing here at Southern Regional College, so through some practical uses. Starting off with phone-based AR, and I'm going to show you a simple wee video here shortly of QR codes, because really that's in its total simplicity. That's where it all started. And then really moving I suppose in terms of like a progression, really looking at web VR, what you can do on your phone or PC, and then you're going to see some great examples that Cahill's been exploring with Laser Quest on the headsets. Um, and particularly now, you're going to see VR headset-based developments in tourism, and we're going to showcase some examples of that. I think it's important for today to be also be able to say to you, here's some of the hardware at Southern Regional College that we're using and the software applications that go along with that. And really from entry level, I don't have a degree in IT or anything like that, and I'm able to use this as a front end user. So it is use, and we provide support at Southern Regional College to do that. Um, we have built up some fantastic stuff on Mozilla Hubs. You're going to see an example of the McDonald Art Gallery today. You're going to get on a tour of that. We also have another various different virtual rooms that we set up in Mozilla Hubs. And here is a platform that we believe, only one, it's one that we believe that you could be using if you're a visitor attraction, a hotel, a conference organizer, etc., etc. Okay, so your last line there, Cathal, your entry into VR has never been easier. Okay, I think we're now good. I think what we're going to see now, Cathal, is oh yes, the little history. Thank you. So just briefly then, I'm going to point out a few things here. So I mean, going back to 1968, I could smile and say to you, I wasn't born then, but actually I was. But I'm going to pick out a couple of things. 1994 AR Inside Theatre Entertainment, and then I suppose for me really, if we move around the corner there where it says before 2009 AR and print media, so back to something like QR codes. I can remember following that NFC, near field communication, was coming in, in 2011, 2012, and you see that coming into the car industry. Then remember Google Glass. Do you remember that? I remember going to conferences 7-8 years ago and wearing these glasses and thinking this is going to change the world. Now, for various reasons, it got to a certain development stage and didn't go further. But really what it is preempt what was to follow. You've HoloLens, and then in the retail side of things in 2017, you've got various applications of augmented reality in retail. And right up to today, the simplest things that we're all doing, I suppose, with our phones is we're paying by our phone with Google Pay or Apple Pay or any pay systems. And really the pandemic has kind of accelerated all of this, not just QR, just tap. And there's either NFC technology going on or other technology. So, AR and VR has really moved so quickly, particularly in the last 18 months. And the next slide, you're going to see some headsets there, Cathal. Some you may recognize, like certainly in my case with two young lads, they're PlayStation ones, and the Oculus Rift there on the left. The Google Cardboard is the cheap entry one, and that's still valid. You could brand your own cardboard there for AR and VR. And the Quest, which we're going to show you as well. I don't think there's a photograph of it there, but you will see various headsets. It's not just for gaming, and this is what we're going to talk to you today about. There is web VR, which is without the headset, but in various locations and museum experiences, you will see now people putting on a headset. And hopefully what we're going to be able to demonstrate from today is the technology has moved on so much that is actually a very seamless experience and a very immersive experience. So Cal, I think now I've got a short video explaining quickly about the little project we did with QR codes. Hello everyone, this is just a quick explanatory video talking about the use of QR codes in hospitality and tourism. They've been around for a long time, and I remember using them in France about 15 years ago on the Vendée. But this simple example is really just a company we recently worked with, is Jill's Cakes and I. And what we did is Jill put together a DIY cake kit, and part of it was to have QR codes so people could buy the cake from her. We set up e-commerce links with it, and basically here's an example. There's the company, there's the menu all out in a box, and with it came 5 explanatory videos. So really when you received your box, really all you had to do was unbox it with the cake kit, and then you were required to scan one of these here, which I'm about to do now just in this example. So here I am scanning it, if you can see that. That's the QR code there, if you can see my phone. And then, sorry, that took a wee bit of while. We just open it now. Let's open the link. Open the URL, and there you have straight away playing the video. There's Jill's video there.
So when the front doorbell rings and you get this lovely parcel through your door and you're feeling all excited and you're ready to make your Rudolph cake, this is all that you're going to need.
So really that's just a simple example of QR codes in tourism. They've been around for a long time and now they are dynamic QR codes, but I suppose it's the very first example of simple augmented reality, and we're going to hear more about that now. Thank you. So, okay. Okay, look at it.
Yeah.
Get a wee bit of a if everybody's microphone's off, is that better now? Yeah, just give me a thumbs up there, Margaret or Aisling. Yeah, okay. So, Cathal, if you want to move on to the next slide, I'm not too sure if we have. Before we go into that, Cathal, I think we had a slide for Amazon Explorer, if you remember, but that's okay. A couple of other things. There's it there. Amazon Explorer. So really, to tie up before Cathal's going to talk to you about some local examples, really, what's happened in the last 18 months, let's say, with the pandemic and pre-pandemic and during the pandemic. So, you know, VR and VR destinations, virtual reality tourism destinations is no longer a gimmick. And people are actually seeing the value out of this. And this came to the fore. If you look at Amazon Explorer, it's currently in beta version. And as Cathal has rightly talked to me about, this is still very much just 360 videos, but it's an indication of where virtual reality and augmented reality and virtual reality are going. Because on this example that you see in front of you, you can actually do a tour of any of these destinations, whether it's Romeo and Juliet tour or you're going to Venice. So you're paying for an hour, $40, $50, $10, $20, and actually that's a virtual tour with a guide in it. I'm smiling to Margaret here, but you know, tour guides, this isn't in any way to replace you. It's going to enhance what you do. And here's another income stream for tourism, for tour operators, for hotels. It's happening at the moment. And by the end of this webinar, we will be able to show you a platform where you could build the tour. For example, you could have a virtual tour inside a gallery that Cathal has, or inside your own Mozilla room, and you could be having either live events or you could be selling that, and that could be, you know, a destination in its own right. Okay, Cathal. Yep. Hand over to you. Far away.
Yeah. Here's a little piece of video of augmented reality in use in the real world. What we're seeing here is a view of Belfast showcased through a Unity app, which finds the target on the ground or a geolocated target. It then opens up this augmented portal, which takes you through into a 360 surround video of or an image, in this case, of Belfast. This could be any 360 of anywhere in the world. So if you're trying to showcase your event or your venue or your city or your tourist destination, this is a great way to attract visitors to your venue by using augmented reality in a target form. Kieran was involved with some of the guys who put this together in other projects, and there's a lot of development going on in and around Northern Ireland at the minute in this technology. So it's an exciting time to be anywhere near it. Kieran, do you want to tell them about the trails?
Yeah. I mean, I think really on that, you know, Thomas, if he's listening today, Thomas McVeigh, so anybody who's in the world of 360 will know Thomas from his company in Northern Ireland and Virtual Tours, and Alan Hamilton from Brilliant Trails, now part of our team, and then Jeff Cox as well. We're all involved in that particular project, and that is at through W5. If we move on to, I suppose, the next slide there, I'll let you explain this, but this is Yellow Design, who probably recently won a competition from Tourism NI, and certainly doing a lot of very, very interesting things around what's happening in virtual reality in Belfast and Northern Ireland. And I'll bat back to you here, Cathal.
Yeah, Yellow Design put together and executed this concept wonderfully. The idea is in the Titanic slipways to have an attraction that is viewable through a phone app. Just like
immerse themselves in time, in history, on the exact location where the legend was built over 100 years ago. Recreated in full 3D at 265 meters in length, Titanic can be inspected from every angle. Visitors can simply use their smartphones to also explore Titanic and admire the ship's amazing details, all while capturing memories and sharing on social media. Carefully considering accessibility for all, the ship's geometry can be lowered, allowing users to walk the decks of the ship. Walking among large markings on the ground, circles soon become funnels, compartments become clearly visible, and the infamous lifeboats also reappear. AR 360, the immersive experience platform.
Yeah, so that provides visitors with an additional level that wouldn't otherwise be available to them in the venue. I've been playing around with similar ideas. Here's a video of a mosaic I put together. Basically, the image behind you is for a local establishment. It's comprised of 17,000 smaller images, and then within the large image, if you use a phone app, you can trigger videos relating to the history. I'll just let that wee video play. Yep, it relates to the history of the town. So all those small images are all historical images in Uri. So then using app technology, it fires off layered videos of vintage video of the town and its development through the ages. This was installed in a beer garden, which led to a lot of conversations. People can have a great chat, learn a lot about the history of the town, and you have an immersive experience with film. So I've been sort of developing this technology myself, and we're getting good traction with it, but sort of with the pandemic, it kind of put a stall to that development. But so that's some local based.
Yeah, could I come in on that one, Cathal, before you move on, because just hold that there. That's lovely. So just for everyone, I'm going to reiterate what Cathal said there, because there's 17,000 tiles. Can you imagine that? 17,000 tiles, and I'm guessing, Cathal, there's about how many triggers are there actually within that? 4 or 6 or 10? How many triggers are there?
Yeah, well, the main image would be a trigger. Then embedded in it, I think there's 7, which tell different stories of different relevant to the photo that triggers them.
Okay, so I can remember this is actually shot, believe it or not, nearly 2 years ago, and this is in Unit 8 down in our Green Shoots building where we experiment with some of this technology. We actually had the poster up there, but then we had the poster in the Bridge Bar out in their beer garden, and it was absolutely fantastic. It really was. Now, obviously, with what's happened, the pandemic, the pubs now reopened. I understand, but you know, here's a great example. I can tell you, I haven't seen this technology, and I'm talking to you from Carryduff, and I would know Belfast quite well down the years. I haven't seen this kind of technology in Northern Ireland or anywhere else as yet. So even though this is 18 months old, this is still very groundbreaking. So just to summarise, this is a mosaic of 17,000 different tiles, and each one of those is interactive. I love the one because I am a fan of the 4 of us. So one of them is a ticket of the concert to the 4 of us. 1990, Cathal, maybe. I'm thinking, digressing slightly, but it's still very relevant to the OEA Centre in Belfast, because I went on their music tour 2 years ago, and I'm smiling now because I'm a big punk rock fan, and Stiff Little Fingers was one of my favourite bands. But we stopped outside the Ulster Hall, and I was able to tell the tour guide, 1979, I remember Jake Burns on the stage and the support band. But imagine that if I saw this poster in the OEA Music Centre, I'd be wow. I'd just be, reliving it. So this is augmented reality, but it's augmented reality that I don't think this audience would have seen before, Cathal. So I know there's a lot. I mean, might be interesting if you were able to share something about how you put together 17,000 tiles.
Slowly. No, basically, it's a photo mosaic. It registers the image, the large image, and then matches through a lot of machine time and algorithms. Smaller images with the same color and same verticals and horizontals to generally stitches it up. But this is basically this would be we're pulling AR and VR from their traditional home, which has been headsets, pulling them into phone screens, which is a good thing to be trying to do at the minute. But to show exactly in the headset realm, what is going on in tourism. I have an example coming up next. We're in Amsterdam in the Anne Frank house. I'm sure a number of people have been there. They developed a 3D app, or a 3D headset app for, I'm using the Quest 2, where they recreated in the rooms in the secret annex as they would have been in 1942 when the events happened there. So, at the minute, if you visit the Anne Frank Museum, it would be just the back annex. It's just empty rooms, which gives you a flavour of the place. But they put a lot of time and effort into coming up with a Quest 2 app. I'll just play this little video.
Okay, before you do that, could you hold that for a second and just go back to the last one, just to remind people the app that you did, the mosaic that they were able to view it was through, was called Artivive.
Yeah, it's a free app. Yeah, it's a free app. It's a Unity trigger app.
Okay.
So I, as a digital artist, use it a lot. A lot of my images have virtual or augmented reality overlays, and it's a convenient way to get into augmented or virtual reality.
So if a tourism business or an artist looking at this today says, well, I'd like to do something like that, it is possible to do this, obviously with support through the Artivive. Well, Artivive is particularly art related, but let's say a cultural business. Yeah. Through the Artivive app, if you approached Artivive and try to get a license, if you like.
Yeah, it's a great way to experiment and play with VR. There's not that much to it. There's no coding. There's no launching your own app. There's no paying for Unity licenses. There's no putting on stores. You just use it.
Okay. I think I'd like to now go to Amsterdam, please.
Oh, I. So as I said, there's just a wee video of Anne Frank. This video is taken from inside a headset, if you get what I mean. You'll see as if you're holding a video camera. That's what you see when you're in the headset. I'll let this wee video try and explain.
So I'm here in Anne Frank's house, and now I'm in the fireplace. Oh goodness! Oh, I'm going to lift the bricks and put them onto the fire. That is amazing, Cathal. Honestly, I tell you what I love about this is the old wallpaper. You really get a sense of being in the room. And there's the banister. Wow.
During the day, we always have to walk quietly and speak softly. The people in the warehouse mustn't hear us. Our little room, with its stern walls, was very bare until now, thanks to Father, who had brought my whole collection of picture postcards and movie stars here beforehand. I have been able to treat the walls with a pot of glue and a brush, and so turn the entire room into one big picture.
So again, it immerses you totally in the experience. Here I am lifting a book.
Writing lets me get rid of it all. My sorrow disappears,
and
my courage is revived.
The quotes and narration.
And that's the main question. Will I ever be able to write something great? Will I ever be a journalist and a writer? I hope, I do so hope I will, because writing lets me register everything, my thoughts, my ideals, and my fantasies.
This is the BBC Home Service. Here is a special bulletin.
This is the day.
So you can walk
the English radio said at 12
real
o'clock.
space in real time.
And rightly so. This is the day. The invasion has begun. The annex in an uproar. Could it really be that the long-awaited liberation is on its way? The liberation about which we've...
So, from this immersive AR experience, the Anne Frank House has produced a web version of this, which they've produced 360
During the 21 months we've been
from
here,
inside
we have gone through quite a number of food periods.
I've put a link in the distribution list for afterwards. You can visit the web version of it.
On the morning of the 4th of August, 1944, the hope Anne is holding on to is suddenly all lost. The hiding place is discovered, and police barge into the annex, arresting everyone.
It's a very moving experience. It takes about 25 minutes. There's a link in it. If anybody does have a headset and wants to explore it, I'd really recommend it.
Could I?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting a bit of feedback. Yeah, could I come in and share my experience on that? I agree with you. It was a very emotional, emotive experience. It's the best virtual reality experience I've ever had. And I'm sharing this with the audience here. You saw me down in our green shoots room there, but I had, I think the word Cathal probably smiled, it's like anxiety about putting the headset back on. And I say back on because my last experience a couple of months ago, I was unwell after it. And I now understand why, because it was a fast moving and I was moving so much in the environment. And I have to say with this, it was just so realistic. And you see the way we saw the white hand and the feet. Well, when you put your feet into position, it was, for anybody who's skied before, it's like putting ski boots on or wearing Wellingtons. And it was totally, you got that sense of motion. Likewise, in the induction of the Quest 2, I was playing table tennis, by the way, actually playing table tennis virtually and lifting things. And you got as if you were controlling nearly like a Dalek or something like that. It was amazing, but it was really lifelike. And in 2021, that Quest 2 that Cal's going to explain a little bit more about it's made everything so accessible, and certainly for destinations and also for bigger visitor attractions, there's a definite opportunity there. So Cal, I just wanted to share that as an entry level, that it was very, very, I use the word immersive, but fascinating, absolutely fascinating. Thanks.
No problem. Going to show the next app here from inside a headset. This is one called Wander. So while the previous apps have all been based to specific locations and specific events, this one has the whole world, basically the whole of Google Earth imagery, 2D and 3D, wrapped inside it, and you're seeing it in virtual 3D space. So here we are. You can zoom in anywhere in the world. I'm just going to pick Belfast here. So this gives access to the whole of the world. You're inside a headset, and you can see everything virtually in 360 degree. You can search nearby places, and if you're in a Google listing, this is where you'll show up. So then AdWords might be worth the money. You can go, as I say, anywhere. You can just click on the map and select anywhere you want to go in Belfast. So here we are, here in the middle of the West Link. We're going to zoom out now. So this is all Google Earth imagery wrapped in a 360 environment. And if people want to check out an event or check out a location, check out where they're going to tour, check out before they go somewhere, this is a brilliant way to do it. And it's so easily and so accessible. And again, it's not just based in any one locality or any one premises. It's the whole world. So it incorporates the exterior Google Earth imagery in a whole new and totally immersive way. You can even check interiors. Here we are inside Carnegie Hall, and that could be inside a hotel or inside your venue or wherever your event is. So say that's wrapped in Google Earth imagery. Here's another tool which has become accessible recently. It's called Google Earth Studio. It's very useful for making intro videos to your venue or your event or your location. Basically, it's the same idea. Zoom in anywhere in the world, create very, very easily a very effective video in very little time. So in this stage, I'm just going to zoom into City Hall. So here we are. You just tell it to point. That's where you want it to end up. So it zooms in, makes a video, does whatever rotation you want. And there's a lot more control than this. This is just a very simple version. You can do point to point. You can do whole. I've done the mornings. It's just right now to get into accessible video. This is very easy and indeed free way to do it. You have to register for it, and there are some stipulations just to keep their watermark and what have you. But I've used it a couple of times to great effect. But for anybody in tourism, the link is in this for the end. So that's Belfast and all its Google glory.
I think that's we're seeing Belfast here, and all the destinations, you know, within Northern Ireland now will be mapped by Google.
Yeah.
You know, most destinations. So for anyone listening to this, just to reiterate what Cathal said, you need to go. This is Google Earth Studio. You apply to Google for that. I have the Earth Studio as well. Cathal, I've used this for. I know you've seen it in the past for mountain biking and cycling, and we actually have the Green Bank, and we extracted the KML files, and we did a flyover of mountain bike run just along the Green Bank, but I mean, it was fantastic. And you know, you've seen this type of technology, which is underlying a lot of the stuff that you're seeing TV and when you're watching these big cycle races. You're seeing this type of technology now coming into play a lot.
Yeah, and you know, if anybody needs any help in the introduction to this, you know, you can reach out to us at SRC. Be more than happy to introduce to the various technologies we're displaying today.
Yeah.
So we're now getting into the hardware side of things for some of the work we've been doing.
We'll also talk about the Quest there, and then I'll talk about the other two.
Yeah, on the left-hand side is the Quest 2, which is the past year edition of an Oculus product. It's the price point is amazing for what you're getting. 300, and there's no wires. There's not, you're not tethered to a PC. You don't need a gaming PC anymore. It's 120 frames per second. Full control with the triggers and the fingers. And at that price point, it's amazing to get into. There's never been a better time to experiment with VR and AR. In the middle, then we have a 360 camera, the Insta D1. I'll show you some. I'm just getting some feedback. There's some of the footage coming up that we have done for sales.
Just hold on that, Cathal. I'll take it up from there on the Insta because I have it here in front of me. So that's the camera. It's on a selfie stick. What you're going to see now is some footage, I think, is on it. That becomes invisible within the app when you edit the app. With this particular camera here, it can go 10 meters underwater as well. It acts as a Steadicam. There's a natural flow stabilization. So I have had this on a cycle helmet and used it. And there, in terms of the editing, and Cathal's going to show you some of this in a wee minute. There's artificial intelligence in terms of the editing. There's 4 microphones on this as well. But you know what you could do is have a clip mic there, or you could even, if you were out walking, you could have your mic and you could have that clipped in. If you were certainly outside, and then on the screen itself, there's an just on there. There's an ultra bright touch button there. I've created. You're going to see shortly a very simple hyperlapse video, which is speeding it up, and I've added a bit of music all in the app, and you're going to see some fantastic stuff that Cathal has. He has a voice control. There's also voice control with this. In terms of the one on the very left, well, this is a very new piece of technology. Again, Cathal, I haven't seen a lot of this in the UK or Ireland for that matter. This is a cable camera based on if you like a clothesline, but it can go up to 100 meters, and then you can extend that. And the cable system will carry a DSLR, a mobile phone. In this case, what you're going to see is a 360 camera. You can see what it says there. I have the box just in front of me here. Here's it, you know, and that gives you. It's called the viral light, and I suppose it will give you drone-like photography without having a drone and needing and requiring a drone license. So it's come to our table relatively recently. Thank you, Sarah, and Connected, and we've been able to explore this. And you're going to see some footage, but I guess what's important for anyone watching this is very much going to come into the world of virtual reality, and we can help you here at Southern Regional College. And Cathal, I'm going to let you take it away from there.
Yeah, I have a little video here of the World Light. That's me playing with it in the middle of the bluebells in Narrow Water. Basically, it's a very, very sophisticated motor cable system. There's a remote control. It has lots of settings. You can go really, really fast for sport mode, or like this is sweeping motion. So this is some of the footage from the 360 camera of the bluebells. So you get really smooth lines and really good footage. And the entry point, I've been playing with video cameras, and last time I played with a cable cam, it was exorbitantly expensive but this isn't, and the results you can get with the combination of both the 360 and the cable camera are amazing. Even I have some 360 video shot in at full immersive 360 for VR, but it's on YouTube. I'll send the link out with the end literature. So at the minute, there's never been a better time to get into high quality footage and high quality renders. And this is I'm just going to lead into a video of Kieran here in the.
This is me in Maher.
Yep.
Maher State in Orange. So that's only a 10-minute, 10 seconds, sorry, the video was slightly long, it was about a minute and a half, and it took me about 16 or 17 minutes to walk those trails, the new trails at Maher Estate. We're doing a project with them, but really that's just the front, so it's just the front view. In the editing, I didn't take you can obviously, this here pole would disappear in the editing, but that's just a very, very simple hyperlapse. It's not really virtual reality, but it's another indication of where all of this is going in terms of trying to introduce your new destination or welcome people to your location.
Yep. Now, ease of use is a big theme in what we're trying to do. The Insta360 comes with its own software. It also has a plugin for Premiere Pro for doing tracking, but this is the one that it just comes with out of the box. So basically what's happening here, you're in their editing suite. I've drawn a target that the camera will track, in this case my wee dog. So you just tell the camera to track that, and if you want to follow another target, I'll just play that on a little bit, and then you just turn the camera around. It's full 360 at amazing 5K resolution, so then you can start tracking any subject that you want. So it's moving through all the 360 imagery, tracking the dog, or it could be a skier, or it could be a footballer, or it could be someone on a beach, or it could be a fly past just focused on your front door if you're trying to do an advertising video. But again, that comes with the hardware just out of the box. Previously you'd have to pull that into Premiere Pro, set tracking points, which is possible, but not. Nobody's going to invest £900 in software just to get a 20-second video. So easy use and ease of access, it definitely ticks those boxes.
Yeah, I think that's and you've highlighted that very well there, Cathal. I think that's for me. You know, I've played around with this on the bicycle, and for anybody, or runners, for example, and you're doing a mountain trail, or walkers, and somebody's in front of you, and you're tracking them all the time. And the beauty, just not to get lost in this isn't 360. Remember, it's tracking in 360, of course, as well, and that is what you've just to go over that again. What you've really explained there is that's tracking whatever the movement of the object is in front of you in full 360, and that is and within the app as well. You know, and now I think if I'm right, this is the desktop. This is the desktop version. So I have done any editing I've done on this has been within actually here and within my phone, but on the desktop would be easier, I have to say. It would be very easy. But that really is, you know, this word game changer is used a lot, and Cathal's making a really important point here, everyone, about ease of use, you know. And whilst Cathal is an expert in IT, I can put my hands up, I'm a user, and I get this, and I get it, and I think anybody, not just the tourism industry, anybody wants to showcase stuff will get this. It is accessible. Yep.
And at the price point, it's amazing, because this was only previously available in video editing suites, which were professional, and a steep learning curve. This, anybody can jump in, learn deep tracking, learn flow, and produce a video with very little.
Come back to the cost, because I received a question in there, and I put it in about that. We'll come back to that in the Q&A.
Okay. So far, we've been sort of dipping in and out of AR, VR. And I'm going to come to web VR. I've been sort of specializing in this for a little while, and how to make augmented reality experiences work on anything with a screen, not just headsets. We referred to Mozilla Hubs earlier. So this is a video of a little gallery that I've put together, which you'll have an invite in a few minutes to try it. I'll just play. So here we are. You enter as an avatar, and then you go into a virtual space. In this case, it's a gallery of my own work, but it could be any virtual space. We've done multiples from 15-acre sites down to rooms of this size and all things in between. So basically I'm sharing, this could be me walking you through my gallery. You want to ask me something about the paintings, I come in, give you an explanation of what's happening, what it is. Even it's a great way to close a deal. Through the pandemic, people couldn't get in galleries, but this was a great way to attract business, for people to interact with you. You can give them the guided tour of your work. They can ask questions in real time. You can actually close a sale, which is hard to do through Facebook Messenger. But again, this can replicate any premises. This is just me having a conversation how that painting was done and what technique was used and what is digital painting. So I find that very useful a couple of times. Again, you'll have the chance to come in here in a short time. So this is people just conversing in the space, getting used to the environment. But again, that can stretch into any environment. It should be learning or tourism or a virtual copy of, if you're a restaurant or a hotel, I want to really show off your premises, you can do a digital twin.
Yeah. Could you call for her? No.
Yeah.
I was actually trying to say back at the social wall.
On the oh yeah, you can have any links, any hyperlinks you want in here. Just
That's okay, Cal. Really, what was, and I'm getting a wee bit of feedback there. What I was trying to highlight there is within the gallery, as you're exiting it, there is a what you call a social wall. So if you can think of your museums or visitor attraction and you've had a good experience, you'll sign out. So there is a digital guest book, but there's also what Cathal had up there. There was links to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc., etc. And that's, remember, folks, it's all within this virtual experience, but it's actually bringing it to life. And when you saw, we could see Aisling was in there. I don't think Margaret was there, but a few others were there, and we were interacting. This for the last 3 months, Cathal and I, more than once a week, have been meeting in Mozilla Hubs, and it's just second nature. And we believe what you've just seen there is what's coming down the track, very, very much so. And the technology has moved so far. I mean, even in the last 6 months, Cathal, the last 3 months. I know my colleague Brian was in this as well. Was yesterday even talking about other developments in Mozilla Hubs. It's ever changing, but it is making it more accessible to businesses.
Yeah, very much so. Especially, there's been 3 major updates even since Christmas, and each one brings more functionality and more easy use, and it gets quicker and slicker and better. And again, if you need any advice or assistance with the thing about Mozilla Hubs too, it's freeware, open source. Anybody can use it, anybody can learn it, and you can deploy your own venue or your own Hubs room very easily and at no financial cost to yourself.
Okay. I think we're going to have events that are coming up. So I'm getting a wee bit of feedback. Maybe if you just take your mic off, that's great. So next Monday, then we have a couple of more events coming up, and then we'll get the Q&A. we have a webinar coming up, Cut It, Cook It, Quaff It, with Dean and Michael, and my colleague Brian McGee is going to be facilitating that on Monday, the 10th of May. We'll follow up with details here. I know Margaret's coordinating that. And then we have another event. If you move on to the next slide there, Cathal, we have another event there on podcasting on the 3rd of June, which I'm going to be taking, and looking forward to that. If I may, Cathal, at this point, just bring in some, I know I could see a question there around the costs of this. So the question is, what are the costs involved for all of this? So if someone wanted to get into AR, VR, what are the costs that are involved? Do you want to initially take that, and I'll try and jump in?
Well, hardware-wise, the Quest headset, it's about £300, and that gets you everything that you need to experience total VR. The Insta 360 1X2 is about four. If you get a few accessories,
it's about 400 accessories.
Yeah, and the VR Lite, it's somewhere around £400 now, but with that you get all the accessories and a great piece of kit and different mounts, ball mounts and what have you. They're really well made. The equipment is really high-end photography grade. It's not your little foam cases from China. It's really milled and good engineering and a great motor. So that's about three. So you're totally in the game for about £1,000, and that would be all you'd need to keep going. The camera and the cable, you don't need. You can just make fantastic video just using those alone, just for a video. That's perfect. You would pay more than £700, a lot more, to get anywhere near the quality footage that you're learning how to make and that you can make at any time for yourself, and especially with the onboard software. It makes it really accessible and really useful right now.
Yeah, I think the point to make here is, I suppose the entry costs are not, are accessible. I think an important point to make here is there is an investment in time and an investment in resources. And obviously we could help you with, and Margaret's going to come on and talk about some of the support that's available. We could help you with that at SRC. And all I can say is I've picked this up in the last couple of years, and so provided you're prepared to invest a bit of time and effort, you are able to do this, and we'd be delighted to help you in any way we can. I suppose in terms of, before I hand over to Margaret, Cathal, is there anything else? I'll do just a 1-minute summary here. Is there anything else you'd like to add there from today?
I just hope you had a good overview of it. There's a couple of, it was only scratch, not everything that's happening in virtual augmented reality and tourism. A lot of people using Matterport to show off the hotel or a venue. There's a lot of things happening out there, but this is just a brief overview of where we are at the minute and what's happening. And it is going to be an ever-changing world, but the price point and the development of the Quest 2 is like mobile phone, smartphone uptake. It's going to be a parallel to where it was 10 years ago, 12 years ago with smartphones. The price is going to keep coming down, and the quality is going to keep going up, and the needs going to keep going up. And it's going to be a very important part of anybody's marketing in the future, especially with restrictions and the like of which we've become very accustomed to recently.
Yeah, if I could come in there and just endorse what you said, thanks for that. Just in terms of a summary, all this technology is enhancing what visitors are looking for, and very much, it's now. It's about pre-visitation, as US travelers would call it. It's coming to see the destination, and that's becoming more important in the decision-making process. As we have seen with the likes of Amazon, where Amazon's going and other providers are following, is sometimes that is the experience. I certainly believe it's not just about that. I believe the experience starts in the olden days when you got the brochures out, and brochures are still out there, by the way. But the whole holiday experience starts from the planning and the trip plan. And this is where I believe all of these technologies for travel agents, for museums, for airlines, for airport lounges, out there, I came across last week an Immerse in the Hydrus, a 360 immersive dive, and certainly there's a company now who do Escape Now 360 World Videos, and there's another one, the Travel World app. So this is all coming into play, and what we're saying to you, it's not just about 360 videos anymore. And you've seen from the Anne Frank, you've seen from Cathal's recent experience there in Mozilla Hubs, this is where we believe the world of AR and VR, and it's changing all the time. But you know, just to summarize, we would be delighted to help you with that. And I hope from today's talk that you've been able to pick up some useful tips. We again would be delighted to help in any way we can. Margaret, you're going to talk a little bit about support. I'm going to highlight Innovatus and innovation vouchers, but I know that I've started to steal your thunder, Margaret, so I'm going to hand over to you because I can't see any more questions there, Margaret.
Hi everybody, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to say thank you very much, you guys. There are actually a number of questions. I'll go through just the other support that we have, and then there are just a number of questions there specifically to you guys as well. Okay, so I'm going to say thanks, Kieran and Cathal. It was really insightful, and I learned a lot, and I am not even a user like Kieran, just a beginner, let's say, and even I could understand the jargon that was there, all right. So some of the other funded support we have available here at SRC. The Skills Intervention Programme has been launched last August for those impacted by COVID. So if you're furloughed, made redundant, or impacted in any other way, you can take part in a range of fully funded accredited courses. The Skills Programme is funded for businesses with under 250 employees, or it's just open to social enterprises this year to avail of fully funded non-mandatory accredited training, and that's from the Department for the Economy. The Innovate Us, which Kieran very nicely championed there, is a fully funded mentoring programme offering up from 30 to 60 hours mentoring for an innovation activity leading to a new service, product, process, and open to businesses with under 50 employees. And maybe for some of the guys watching this morning, you want to avail of help from Kieran or Cathal. It's funded by the Department for the Economy. The Innovation Voucher, they aim to help small businesses tap into knowledge and expertise available within the colleges to develop innovative solutions for business issues, and it's funded by Invest NI. And we also offer Fusion for cross-border innovation and knowledge transfer programs, and we have opportunities for higher level apprenticeships. Okay, all of this, more details. If you'd like anything, you can contact us at betterbusiness@src.ac.uk, and those links will be available on the link that we're going to send out for the whole webinar today. But if you check out our YouTube channel for all our webinars, and finally, we'd greatly appreciate if you would complete an evaluation, because then we can see how good we're doing, and if there's anything else, any other areas that you're interested in. Okay, Kieran, just on that,
right, yeah.
Can you see the questions that have come through?
I'll run through them now, and thanks everyone. Sorry, Margaret, I wasn't able to see those earlier on. Thanks very much for that. We'll start with the first one from Connell. I know Connell from Shock. Connell, you're very welcome, and thanks for your question. Connell, this is fantastic. Can I ask how the trigger occurs? I'm guessing, Connell, I don't know which trigger you're talking about.
It'll probably on that portal, the door one.
Yeah.
There's a number of ways you can geolocate it. So whenever the device, depending on where the app's written, upon entering a space, I would say that was done just with a geolocation. So within probably a 10-meter space, you can have the app running, and at some stage within that is where the app will pick up the signal and start projecting the portal. That's one way. I don't know the exact coding into that, but in Unity or it would probably just set it up a geolocation. But it could be a trigger on the ground. It could be a piece of the street furniture. It could be a printed marker. Technology is very loose, and it can incorporate a lot of triggers or a lot of ways to trigger 3D portals such as that to come together. Whether it's made in Blender or made in Unity or made in any of the game engines. But basically, it's either an image target or a geolocation.
Yeah, it depends on the app. If it was through the likes when we went to the gallery there, or went to your Mosaic, that was done through a third-party app like Artivive, and there are other apps out there. I'm thinking of Guidego, and I know Alan's not here this morning, but he has his own Brilliant Trails app, and there's lots of other stuff out there. Yellow Design of theirs as well, so could be the in-app.
Yeah.
So thanks for that, Colin. A few more here, Cathal, if you can hold. I see where, I don't know, Ashley, we've got 4 minutes here. I got a 4-minute prompt there. So Hugh from Embrace Tours, Hugh, I think you're up in the Sperrins. I haven't met you yet, but I've been following you, and you're doing some great stuff up there, up near the dark sky. So Hugh says, I've thought about a QR codes, a treasure hunt type, but connectivity is a glaring problem for me, unless maybe an app-based one is available. Is there tech like this for QR codes?
Yeah, just a short answer. You don't have to be. Yes, you can build a simple Google Sheets, but yes, it's totally possible.
There is, and likewise, again, very shortly, Alan, who's a part-time member of staff, we're going to be using a platform of his where if you had QR codes at certain points within the trail, I referenced their Guidego. There's another app platform called Outdoor Adventure where you could do this, and maybe after this, Hugh, if you want to exchange details with Cathal or I, would maybe try and be delighted to pick that up. I see you, and a message from Colin. Thank you, Colin from Brack Tours. Good morning, Colin, and we're hoping to pick something up with you later, Colin. Hugh, again, a follow-up question. He has a script produced, Cathal, for a movie to be shot, and have it that you're walking the tour at different stages, put on the headset, and the scene comes alive, and you're in the movie, with characters speaking directly to you while the scene unfolds. It's silly money being talked about when I first looked into it. Are there innovation grants for this type of development? I think you're maybe into beyond an innovation voucher there, Hugh. Certainly with an innovation voucher from Invest NI, Margaret made reference to, you could start to explore a little bit of that. But you're probably into something like a tech grant, Cathal, from Tech Start, or certainly tourism and competitions. But Hugh, let's kind of knock our heads together to see what the avenues. There's some great work, Hugh, been done by Digital Catapult NI, and Cathal and I have been down to a few of their events. And Cathal, I mean, if you want to come and jump in there.
Well, I'd like to ask a lot more questions, but it's hard to. I don't really know what you're doing. You're making a movie and you want to be able to put a headset on and see it in three. It'd be a lot of work, it'd be a lot of time. So therefore, I'm saying it'd be a lot of money. But all things are possible with technology. But again, it's just the setting up, and I would need to know a lot more about the brief. But let's have a chat, because.
Yeah, but I think what Hugh said, I mean, I've seen some of Hugh's stuff, and it's Hugh's a guide and a storyteller and an operator as well. And you could easily have Hugh, what Cathal has in the gallery there, Mozilla Gallery. You could look at that as experiences. If you're looking this to get people to your destination, it could be something. There definitely could be something there. There's another question. Thanks for those, Hugh. Very interesting. And there's another question, Johnny. Maybe he knows. He says he's a Newry man in New Zealand. Well done, guys. Really enjoyed the presentation. Learned a lot. Thanks, Johnny. Samuel from Edengate Travel and enjoy the mornings. We've worked with Sam. Sorry, I'm late. Okay. Catherine from Inside Mystery. Terrific overview. Yes, I know, Catherine. Thanks. I can't see anything else. Margaret, am I missing anything? I can't see any other questions. I think that's us in terms of questions, but please do reach out to us, as Margaret has rightly said there. And once again, thanks very much. Remember, next Monday is my colleagues talking about cooking it and quaffing on the butchery side of things, and explaining then how that comes into the front side of things, with Dean and Michael and Brian's facilitating that. And then I hopefully see some of you again at a casting event in early June. Once again, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They're tough.